My name's Robin. I am the founder or one of 4 co-founders of Chrysalis. It's a business model which believes intentional community surrounding a central mode of commerce. And what we really believe in at its core is providing a safe haven for profound social, economic, and personal change. So this is going to be the 3rd video I've done this morning, and if you've listened to any of the others, you'll probably hear me talk about how it's springtime in Oregon. It's gorgeous, mild weather, but it does make it a little bit more difficult to video things like this because the constant shifting of the lighting, cloud, sun, hopefully no rain, and so I apologize for the image quality when it gets a little bit dark or washed out or too light or you get blinded by the sun behind my head. Anyway, earlier I talked about automation and AI, also about what I want to be providing others through Chrysalis. What do I want to have provided by for myself, and therefore what do I want to provide others? But you know, none of it really matters much at all if Chrysalis doesn't get off the ground. And I have had people ask me earlier on when I was talking to them about the concept, well, what would it take to get Chrysalis off the ground? And there are a great many things. There are a lot of resources that Chrysalis would require. And, you know, I'm not talking about just money or land or business ideas. Hold on just a second, I've got a diesel truck coming up, so it's going to be a bit noisy. It's going to require people, and people with specific knowledge and experience subsets which I don't have. I am a builder and philosopher by nature. It's the 2 things which I'm best at. Well, at least, you know, in the context of what I do often, anyway. But I don't have experience in economics, especially complex economic models. I don't have experience in large business, and this would be considered that. I only have a limited knowledge and understanding of psychology and cultural anthropology, which are 2 very important topics which would need to be factored in Chrysalis, in intentional communities. And, you know, I could continue to make a list. I have a background in architecture, but I'm way out of practice for doing things like designing homes or tiny homes or land use planning. And there are people who have specific knowledge and knowledge subsets which provide a lot more experience than I have in those areas. And that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about as far as, you know, the need for resources. Need people to come together and want to make this happen. And so that's actually why I'm making this video right now, is to reach out to you to help start gathering the resources to really put this together. I really believe in this cause. I believe that it's a very worthwhile and achievable goal to start achieving these these communities. And let's see if we can switch things around here. Maybe a little bit better. Not really, but like I said, we're going to work with it. I really believe in the ability to put this type of business model together. It's not like we don't do it already. It's really only restructuring what we already do in our daily lives and taking some of the greed out of it, some of the excess out of it. We all live in communities, urban or otherwise. We all have a job which we contribute to. Well, not all of us, but typically we all provide something to the community around us. So all I'm talking about doing is taking that and putting it into a smaller model that refocuses all of the profits, all of the money back into the community or the development of co-communities and then also back into each other to support one another in it. So from an economic standpoint, we shouldn't be looking at anything that's very different than what we already have, except that it's a redistribution of the actual profits and income to the purposes which serve everybody, not a few individuals at the top. So what really does it mean to need these resources? Well, 4 of the people that I have, or the 3 people that I have that are working with me right now, bring heart, passion, business sense, and art, a sense of community and connection to the people that are helping make this happen right now. And those things are really, really, really important. As I mentioned, there are other people that are really necessary. Need financial experts and gurus, people who really can look at economic models backwards and forwards and be creative about finding solutions to problems which don't look like going and getting a whole bunch of private investors to provide the money to create a community, get a community started. I would like to see this start to happen without that basic model of a private investor in it, unless that private investor is invested in the actual concepts that we're talking about and is doing it for the purpose of making sure that it happens and isn't worried about getting their money back out of it or isn't worried about getting profit out of it. They're buying into the concept and to the importance of it, not for their own personal gain. We need somebody or somebodies who have the ability to design these complex community systems from an architectural standpoint, from a beautification standpoint, landscapers, permaculturists, those people who can look at a community like this of 150 to 300 people and say, this is how we can make it all work on land. This is how much land we need. This is how we would have to garden. This is how we would have to put together the aquaponics systems, the sewage systems to make this work and to make it work at different scales and at different levels and in different types of communities, from urban to rural. We need people who want to contribute their time to spreading the word, because this can only happen if there are a whole bunch of people who want to buy off on these ideas. And we need people, lastly, who are willing to contribute capital and funds to helping make sure that I have the time to focus on this and that I can pay for other consultation as needed to make sure that these things can happen. We'll have to purchase land for the first community unless it's donated to us. And, that's also a possibility. People who are willing to donate the products, services, or real property that we need to make this happen. So what do I need to make Chrysalis happen? I need the money and financial resources to do so and to focus on it. I need the people who could provide the expertise to make it happen. And I need the physical resources to be able to make the first community happen. And then you're probably wondering, well, why would I give you money to do this? Well, over the next month or two, my hope is that with the other 3 members of the board, we can come up with a business plan, or at least some sort of scheduling plan, which allows for us to give you an idea of what to expect as far as planning and stages and development. And so it's my goal to provide that for you in the next few months. If you have any questions, or if you actually do want to contribute, please feel free to contact me through my Facebook page at Robin Wengert on Facebook. There's only one of me in Oregon, so it should be pretty simple to find. And I would really appreciate any input or any contribution that you feel you can make. So thanks for listening, and you have a good day.